You might not think about it this way, but video game title screens are an art form. They're the first impression of a video game experience, and some developers have taken that opportunity to an amazing level. The Washington Post's video game team, Launcher, took a look at some of gaming's greatest title screens to see what makes them work. We've taken into account multiple factors: cinematography, aesthetics, sound design, how the title screen sets player expectations, and surrounding factors, like nostalgia and gaming legacy. So without further ado, here's our analysis of 12 of the best video game title screens out there. Naughty Dog's The Last of Us series has had some great title screens, and it's due to the simplicity of them. The first games is brilliant for its subtlety in imagery. It shows nature slowly overtaking man-made products, like this plant overtaking this window. It's a subtle nod to what the game's theme is about, while simultaneously showing the stakes. The second game also has subtle simplicity. It may just look like a boat, but it's actually an apt metaphor for Ellie's journey. At the beginning, Ellie's rage consumes her, making her future unclear, like the fog ahead of the boat. But at the end of the game, she finds a way to move on from that rage. The boat and the title screen's imagery changes to a much clearer, more beautiful view ahead. God of War 2018 is loaded with cinematography tricks to imply what the revamped franchise is now about. The depth of field is shallow, and not focused on Kratos, but instead focused on the tree with a handprint. It's a subtle way of the game saying it's not gonna just focus on what a bamf Kratos is with radical blood-splattering combos. This is also a title screen that immediately transitions into the game. You start right there and take control of Kratos as he prepares to chop down the tree. Right away, the first actions Kratos takes once again enforces what the title screen conveyed. The game is no longer about flashy combos. It's more about an introspective journey of a man filled with regret. As Kratos painfully takes a moment to reflect on the tree before brutally chopping it down.
Still want me to tie it to the boat?
The NES classic Mega Man 2 had big shoes to fill after the first game became a hit, but the developers were ready for the challenge. Right from the beginning, a swooping camera shot upward seems like an intentional choice. The developers' way of using a camera motion to say, yes, the fans' expectations are rising higher and this game is rising to meet it. And at the top, a triumphant Mega Man ready to go as soon as you click start. Supplementing this title screenshot is an incredible soundtrack that pushes the limits of the NES system, the triumphant techno bop that stuck with fans for generations. The best title screens are the ones that can convey what a full game's experience will be right from the get-go, and Nintendo is particularly good at show, don't tell game design when it comes to their Mario games. This makes for a brilliant title screen introduction for Super Mario Bros. 3, where you actually see gameplay features before even pushing a button. The new Tanuki suit power-up, kicking Koopa shells, and walking behind certain background set pieces? It's a tantalizing snippet of what new experiences you can expect for this game. Sometimes what makes a good title screen is less about the actual screen itself, and more about the feeling it evokes. Kingdom Hearts 3's title screen follows the same format every game in the series has, a concept art-like drawing of the main character on a simple white background, with a new remix of the main theme, Dearly Beloved. And while there were multiple other games on other systems that came out in between, the gap between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 was 13 years. So the last time players experienced a number game in the trilogy was when they were children, or at the very least, a drastically different period in their life. There's almost no other title screen that can bring up that kind of emotional response in the player out there. The best title screens tend to have grand legacies behind them, but perhaps none is as big as Halo's. Not only was this the title screen to kick off the Halo franchise, it was kind of the title screen to kick off the Xbox itself. Halo remains one of the most popular games of the console, and the title screen promised what Halo and Xbox was capable of, a huge and vast experience, teeming with possibilities. Kind of like this space, or this giant metal ring thingy that players were dying to figure out. The grandiose aesthetics signaled that this game wasn't going to be a knockoff of other shooters of the era. It was going to be big, bold, be its own identity apart from the other games, which was a pretty good mission statement for Xbox as a whole. Old school Square Enix, known back then before the merger as Squaresoft, used the single object on a black background motif for a lot of their games' title screens, but none were done as successfully as the Chrono Trigger one. It starts with a swinging pendulum, already indicating that time is going to be a significant story element for the game, and the way that the word trigger flutters in, fluctuates, and fades toward the end of the word is brilliant foreshadowing. The end is not set in stone, and players have the ability to change things. The title screen also gets a lot of bonus points for its graphic design elements. The C in Chrono coming from the pendulum side is a nice touch, and the whole screen follows the rule of thirds to the max. The rule of thirds being a basic design philosophy that the human eye will find pictures with the subject in focus on the thirds of the frame more attractive.
Well, Cuphead and his pal Mugman.
One look at Cuphead's title screen, and you might not even realize you're about to play a game. That's exactly what Studio MDHR was trying to achieve, as the game's visuals and soundtrack take inspiration directly from Walt Disney and Fleischer Studios cartoons, found from the 30s through the 60s. It even has the visual and audio effects old reels used to before the projector would actually spin to the content printed on the film strip. It's clear, right from the get-go, that this is no ordinary co-op run-and-gun game. It's one whose aesthetic is going to transcend the normal gamey look that others in the genre can have. Xenoblade Chronicles' beautiful yet simplistic title screen packs more information about the game than you'd expect. The vast expanse of the plains showcase just how massive this world you explore will be. The pieces of seemingly ancient architecture, which you learn in-game is actually pieces of a giant mechanical creature, hint at a rich world history and mystery waiting for players to discover. And at the center of it all, a weapon that gives the wielder the ability to see the future and thus change it. Time is once again a major factor in this game, something showcased by the title's transitions from day to afternoon to night. Dragon Age Inquisition has another title screen that throws players immediately into the experience. The marching mages and Templars on opposite sides of the screen indicates the tension between them, as well as the setup for the story ahead. The resulting explosion when the player hits start is a startling indicator of what's to come. This is a game that, despite its story being set up by other games, has outcomes you can't expect, something enforced right at the beginning of the game. Braid's title screen's brilliance not only comes from the fact that it immediately throws you into gameplay, it also comes from the startling contrast in aesthetic. When you play through the first world, it appears to be a cheery Mario platformer knockoff, complete with cute visuals. But the title screen is dark and fiery, signaling that this game actually has a dark story underneath. The title screen is also a subtle indicator of what the true story of the game will be. When the video game industry began to experiment with the third dimension, there were a lot of questions surrounding existing IPs. How would video games with already established 2D designs transition into 3D? The Zelda franchise answered that question with a resounding reply in the form of Ocarina of Time. Nintendo opted to show not only the capabilities of 3D, but a narrative that would reveal the new Zelda world. As Link rode Epona through the fields of Hyrule, players saw a grand adventure unfolding before them, a tease of the lands they'd explore, and a look at the new hero himself. Gone were the anxieties that plagued some of the game transitions into 3D. After seeing this open, gamers were simply excited to see what's next.